Welcome everybody. I want to do a video on ETF QYLD. Now this is a very popular covered call ETF. It's one of the first ones that I've actually ever heard of. There's like a niche community that just buys this ETF for income and they really love it. So I did a video on what it was a few years back, and I just want to take a look at how it's performed in the meantime if investors are still happy owning QYLD. For those of you who don't know, the QYLD ETF is like owning the NASDAQ 100. That's what it is based on. That's what the fund managers purchase. Now, the difference is they don't just sit there and purchase the NASDAQ 100. What they do is they write calls in order to make distributions for you. Because if you had just owned the NASDAQ 100 with companies such as Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Costco, you know that your yield would be under 1% overall, but this ETF pays almost 1% per month. So the fund managers need to be doing a lot of buying and selling, writing covered calls to make up that income for you. All of this income does come at a cost, however. On the screen now, we have the QYLD one-year performance, and we can see that it's up 9%. This 9% does not include the distribution, so you can add another 12 to that, therefore bringing our one-year period at 21% returns. It's really good. It's really good if you look at it on its own, but if you compare it to just the NASDAQ 100, which we will see in a second, it's vastly underperformed. Here's the NASDAQ 100 on the one-year time period, and it's up just under 38%. So if you compare QYLD's 21% to just owning the index at 38%, there's a significant difference. However, if you're a retiree who needs income, someone who just likes that peace of mind of distributions hitting your account every month, QYLD might be for you, even though you know you're going to underperform the index. Now, this is over a one-year time period. Now, with these covered call ETFs, they haven't been around forever, like not since I was younger, right? These are a newer product, so we need to take a look at a longer time period. A 5-year time horizon is a significant time horizon, and we can see owning the NASDAQ 100, you would be up 155%. Now, let's compare that to owning QYLD over the same time horizon. QYLD over a 5-year period would be down 20%. Now, this is down on paper. This does not include your distribution. So technically you would be in the money, but you'd be nowhere near just owning the NASDAQ 100. So we're just taking a look at this to illustrate for people because there's a huge covered call movement out there. People love it. They just want to retire holding covered call ETFs. And, if that's what you decide to do, fine. But you need to be armed with the information that you're going to vastly underperform the market, especially when we extend the time period. The further out you go, the worse you're going to do. Another thing to consider is the inflation effect, because your distributions aren't really going to be increasing over a period of time, but so you might be getting the 12% today. It looks great, but later down the line, it's not going to be as much because it's not going to grow. If you compare it to something like a dividend-paying stock, like holding Apple or Microsoft or Google, they're going to increase their dividends every year, so you'd get a higher and higher yield over a period of time. But, we're talking about like around a 1% yield on those companies and lower versus a 12% yield on QYLD. So these products, I'm not saying they're good, they're bad. They are for some people. I know people love them. Just do your due diligence, do your research, understand that you're going to underperform. But if you're happy with your monthly distributions, bless you. That's awesome. All right, guys, thanks. We'll see you in the next video.